Last week we left off with a design and a couple test prints. This week we're going to finish up 3D printing all the little pieces and then stick them in the pipe. First off, we're going to go over our piece that we designed last week. I've got to 3D print it up, and then I'm going to print out all the other ones and get to work on the pipe. All right, so we have it in person now, and it's looking all right. This top line is weirdly off center, if you see that. I don't know if I accidentally twisted it somehow. And I've accidentally created some of these gaps here. Like you can see in there and in there. Bolts fit all right. Doesn't actually go in at all, but we'll widen that up, that's okay. Now if we put the keys in, it becomes clear that this bottom part here is still way too thick, right? Getting the soldering iron in there is still gonna be really annoying. I wonder if we could even just take all of this out. Like, do we even need any of that? Like, is that necessary? How thick would this have to be to properly hold in the keys? I'm probably gonna go do a test, but I reckon we could get it pretty thin, honestly. Like maybe we just beef this up and then it's just the cover on top. The keys can push through and sit under there. Regardless of any of that, I'm still gonna use this piece here. It's decent enough. Like we can slap that on there, and I wanna do a bit of a test on finishing. I've never finished a print, like sanded it down, done a bit of filler. Maybe we use this as a bit of a test print. If it turns out okay, then we keep it going. If it turns out really shitty, then we can scrap it and get another one with the more streamlined style. But I think we're gonna go from here. We're gonna design a couple more different styled ones, you know, like ones for the knobs and the switches, and get all those printed up, compared, and we'll try that out. Here's the modified piece. You can see that we've taken a good bit out of there. You can see it's going to be a lot easier in here. There's so much more room to work with. It's still very sturdy. Not going anywhere. So maybe you can see there, I tried sanding it a bit. I like the way it looks and it feels nice. It's going to be very nice if I continued sanding it. And I had this idea to paint it in a funky kind of oil paint color. But I thought, let's just get it in and working. Let's see if it's any good at all before we spend who knows how many hours finishing it up and making it look cool. All right, now I'm gonna make the rest of them, get them printed up, and then we'll come back with the pipe and put them in. Last time we left off, we have this one here. Since then, I've done some upgrades to it, and we changed the print direction from printing flat like this to printing up right like that, as well as one of the new models here. You can see it got a little bit sanded, but I decided that we're just gonna have to roll with this look. Sanding and painting a lot of these might come later, but way too hard for now. Got the original guy here. Oh yes, there's a rhythm one. 4 buttons and a switch. Yeah, you got one more on the printer for the playback stuff. I've marked out here the opening for this hole here. It looks a bit ugly. So what we've got here is the inside line is the line to drill on, so that when I come in with the final thickest drill bit, this lines up with the edge. It looks a bit suspect, but that's why we've got lots of extra little room here to cover up any mistakes. Alright, so after using the side cutters, we've got ourselves a nice little hole. Check it out. Look at this thing. It's fucking wild looking. I put them on sort of... Okay, wait, give me a second. That's better. We got all the pieces on there now. We got the freaking strap. I put them in based on heart. I used my heart to figure it out. And a little bit, I kind of wanted some little cramped ones down there just to give it a bit of a very much a DIY feel I wanted on this thing. So next up, we're gonna get all the electronics in it. So we're gonna wire up key switches into those. Key switch is a regular switch. More switches, key switches, knobs, all that shit. And so these come right out because they're in there with the bolt. So these pop out, pop in. We're gonna make it a little bit modular so we can change it up later if we want. And also maybe we'll paint it later. I don't know. That could be fun, but really it just seems like a lot of work. So first I want to test out that it's gonna be fun to use at all before I invest a good amount of time painting it up. All right, that's it for this week. Tune in next week for the electronics. Hopefully we can get to the point where it's going to be sending keyboard signals over to the computer. But if my past experience with these kind of things is any indicator, it's not going to be so smooth.